Speaking of Emily, we leave you now with our
happening now.
This cannot stand. And this is not over. This is not over.
Yes to a wastewater treatment facility that will be built over the Helotes Creek watershed. This after the TCEQ greenlit the permits for it this morning. I'm Sarah Acosta here from those fighting this treatment center and why they say it's important to stay in the fight.
The focus is on Friday night and even on into Saturday morning. That's our highest chance for showers and thunderstorms. Talk about how much rain we could get in just a bit.
The San Antonio Spurs are opening their regular season tonight right here at the Dallas Mavericks, and Spurs rookie guard Dylan Harper is all set for his regular season debut. The News at 5 starts right now.
And we thank you for joining us. I am Ernie Zuniga.
And I'm Myra Arthur. We're beginning tonight with breaking news: an arrest in a 2019 murder case. Less than an hour ago, a man accused in the shooting and killing of a San Antonio boxer was taken into custody.
Zaria Oates was there as he was being put inside a patrol unit. Zaria, what led officers to make this arrest?
Hey guys, yeah, SAPD officers tell us that they were pulling Jeremiah Williams, 25-year-old Jeremiah Williams, over for what appeared to be a routine traffic stop that led to them being able to arrest him for this crime. Jeremiah Williams is being accused of murdering George Ramos. If you remember, about 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago, the boxer, a well-known boxer in the community, was murdered here in San Antonio on the far west side. That incident happened over in the Culebra area in Les Harrison, and now that new suspect, that first and what SAPD tells us is the only suspect, has been arrested in a similar area. They said that they picked him up in that arrest on the west side. We do know that he is the only suspect that they're looking for at this time. When they walked him in front of our cameras, though, Williams had nothing to say to us. He didn't answer anything. We also asked SAPD officers if Williams admitted to this crime when they brought him in for questioning. They said it's unclear, but that there would be a lot more information in the affidavit that they provide us with later. As we work to learn more information, we'll bring that to you on air and online. But we are still learning additional information, and we have spoken with George Ramos's mother. I was just on the phone with her about 20 minutes before we came on the air here. She said she's overwhelmed. She's excited that they've made this arrest, but that she's still working to figure out exactly how her and her family feel about what's happened here today and that arrest that was made. Again, it's been just over 6 years since that initial murder happened, and they've been having events in honor of her son and other people who were murdered in San Antonio for years now. She says she's still trying to figure out exactly how she feels about all of this. Live downtown, I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Zaria, thank you very much. Meanwhile, a green light today for a controversial development in northwest Bexar County. KSAT crews continue to follow the concerns of neighbors who have been protesting the Guajolote Ranch plan for years because they believe it could harm the drinking water for San Antonio and beyond.
Attorneys for the developer behind the project, though, deny that. Sarah Acosta has been covering this issue for months now and brings us this newest development today from the state level in Austin.
All those in favor say aye. 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 Motion passes. Thank you.
The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality approving the permits for a wastewater facility near Helotes. That facility will treat sewage and dump it into the Helotes Creek watershed, which feeds into the Edwards and Trinity aquifers. They're water supply sources for 2.5 million people across the area. The wastewater treatment plant would be part of Guajolote Ranch, a housing development of 3,000 homes on 1,100 acres in northwest Bexar County near the Scenic Loop area. Lennar Homes is the developer. The Scenic Loop Helotes Creek Alliance has been fighting this for years.
This cannot stand. And this is not over. This is not over.
The attorney representing Lennar says the operator of the plant will go above and beyond to protect the treated water, arguing critics are not taking into account how this will conserve water.
They collectively ignore the fact that this site will beneficially reuse 100% of the highly treated wastewater.
Randy Newman is one of the driving forces behind the fight.
They have a history of doing this. They really don't adequately review to protect the environment of Texas.
Newman says neighbors plan on fighting this in court and at the county and state level, which could play out for years.
We're going to pursue it legally. We're going to pursue the TCEQ through the legislature for rule changes and sunsetting. We're after conserving the land, and that's what we're going to do.
UTSA students also showed up in Austin to protest the permit.
A lot of people our age don't think about future consequences, and this is stuff that will affect us in our future. And it's important that we start getting active and, fight for what we believe in.
The next step is the appeals process. This can take anywhere from 3 to 5 months, even a year. The developer has also applied for a process with Bexar County to allow for future residents to pay for this wastewater treatment plant through their taxes. Now Bexar County commissioners have the power to approve or deny this, and just today, Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai announced that he disagrees with the TCEQ's decision. In Austin, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
KSAT has been following this proposed Wahalote Ranch project for nearly 2 years. Here's a breakdown of what led to the TCEQ's decision to move forward with the project. In January of 2024, we first reported how neighbors in Northwest Bexar County opposed the plan. In February of 24, the city of San Antonio, SAWS, and more than 80 other parties filed a request to block the wastewater permit. Fast forward then to March of 2025. The TCEQ recommended denying the permit, but 2 months later, state administrative law judges recommended the permit be approved. This July, 10 state House representatives signed a letter urging the TCEQ to deny the permit. In September, San Antonio City Council members in Districts 7 and 8 toured Wahalote Ranch. And then earlier this month, Bexar County leaders voiced their concerns over potentially contaminated drinking water.
And we will continue to stay on top of that for you. Meanwhile, a Bexar County judge today agreed to the removal of a GPS monitor for the longtime business partner of Brad Simpson. James Cotter is charged in connection with the case of the missing Almost Park mother, Suzanne Clark Simpson, who was last seen alive in October of 2024. So Cotter is facing charges of tampering with evidence with the intent to impair an investigation and possession of prohibited weapons. In court on Wednesday, Cotter's attorney, for a second time, requested the removal of Cotter's ankle monitor, saying that he was not a flight risk. After obtaining the state's approval, Judge Joel Perez granted the removal request. No decision has been made yet on what will happen in Cotter's case moving forward. As for Brad Simpson, his tentative trial date is February 13th.
Also in court today, an autopsy was the focus of testimony in the trial of 3 former SAPD officers who shot and killed Melissa Perez in 2023. Dr. David Lynch testified that Perez was hit twice by the officers' bullets. Earlier testimony from a crime scene investigator showed that former officers Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Flores, and Nathaniel Villalobos shot more than a dozen times that night. The question at the center of this trial is not whether they killed Perez, but whether the shooting violated protocol. The officers shot Perez inside her apartment the night she was having a mental health crisis. If found guilty, all 3 face up to life in prison. Testimony is expected to continue tomorrow. We are live streaming on all of our streaming platforms.
Meanwhile, in Seguin, a man is dead after a box truck landed on top of his vehicle. This crash happened this morning just after 6:30. Seguin police say the box truck was traveling westbound on I-10 when it went off the road and fell onto the northbound lanes of State Highway 123. It crashed into 2 sedans. The driver of the box truck and another driver were taken to a hospital in unknown condition. The crash remains under investigation. Well, in just over 2 weeks, campaign filing begins for next year's midterm election, and one person who will not be filing is this man right here, current district criminal judge Ron Rangel.
So over the summer, Rangel launched an exploratory committee looking into the possibility of running for Bexar County District Attorney. Today, he sat down with our Erica Hernandez and explained his decision.
This is really not the right time for my family. I don't know if you're aware, my dad passed a few years ago, so I take an outsized role as the paternal figure in my family, and so it's just not the right time for them.
Rangel is currently serving his 5th term as 379th District Court Judge. Current DA Joe Gonzalez announced in June that he would not seek re-election. The filing window for candidates opens on November 8th. Let's take a look at TransGuide out there right now. We're going to take you to the camera loop 410 at Callahan, looking at the westbound lanes. That's where traffic seems to be the heaviest. But good news, it is moving, just a packed interstate.
Okay, and could rain be moving our way? Are they our first legitimate chance, Adam, at some good rain?
Yeah, good chance, actually. We still have a lot of confidence in a good coverage of rain, showers and thunderstorms, mainly Friday night on into early Saturday, and then there could be some redevelopment, scattered activity Saturday afternoon. Notice during the day on Friday, only a 20% chance. Friday night, we're up to 70%. And then as we get into Saturday, throughout the day and especially afternoon at 40%. So still the focus is Friday night. And I think locally, just after the football games. That's the latest timing, but of course that can change. I mean, we're talking wiggle room of just a couple of hours here. That's about it. Here's our next system, this wound up upper level low moving into California. Same one we've been talking about for days that was out over the Pacific. Already throwing some energy and moisture into Arizona and New Mexico. This will continue to track eastward and slowly work its way through Texas, bringing with it the rain-making energy and some upper level and mid-level moisture, and we'll have some instability. All the ingredients there for the showers and thunderstorms. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll take a look at the high-resolution futurecast, which I think has a pretty good handle on the timing of the rain and also the primary impacts and how much we could get in just a bit.
All right, it is finally here, Spurs fans, the NBA regular season, and it starts in Dallas tonight for the Silver and Black.
And that's where we join Sports Director Larry Ramirez with a look ahead at this all-Texas matchup. Larry, good evening.
Good evening, guys. You know what? Let's get this game underway already. I am excited for them to tip off. So the 2025-26 NBA season did tip off last night with a pair of games, and tonight the action really ramps up with 12 more games, including the San Antonio Spurs playing right here at the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Spurs held shoot around late this morning here at the American Airlines Center. We already knew that De'Aaron Fox, Jeremy Sohan, and Lindy Waters III were out, but last night the Spurs added Kelly Olynyk is out as he comes back from left heel surgery. Spurs rookie guard Dylan Harper will make his NBA regular season debut tonight, and he is ready to go.
It's like a dream come true. I think as being like from a little kid to now, you always dream of playing these games. Just like walking out here, seeing all the white shirts, just ready to go, have fun. I'm new to all this, so I mean, obviously the rivalry's big. They talk about it all the time. You know, when it's an in-state team, it's like just one big game, one big rivalry. People trying to have bragging rights in the state.
And coming up later in sports, Harper will talk about facing that Mavs very big starting five. Let's send it back to you in San Antonio.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. Well, if you're planning to grab some Taco Cabana for dinner or maybe for the Spurs game, you might want to check to make sure the location you plan to go to is open. San Antonio-based restaurant chain has closed down several locations. The chain is no longer operating at least 7 stores, most of which are located on the city's north side. A company spokesperson said the closures were a strategic decision that supports the company's plans for the future, which includes expansion. We have a list of the closed locations right now at KSAT.com. Well, KSAT Community is also stepping up to help raise funds for Meals on Wheels to help those who are at risk of losing those meal deliveries on October 27th. So happening tomorrow, we are hosting a KSAT Community Phone Bank. It starts during GMSA at 5 a.m. and runs all the way until 7 p.m. Your phone call can make a difference. It's a chance to help seniors in our community get the food they need. Again, this is happening tomorrow. What's expected to be a busy weekend in downtown San Antonio. Coming up, how city leaders plan to tackle the traffic. Well, coming up tonight at 6, Hemisphere, La Villita, and Southtown businesses in each area say they are hurting because of construction that is dragging on along South Alamo. We're going to hear from one owner who just closed their doors, and when the city says this delayed project should be done. Plus,
I know for a fact people could change. You know what I'm saying? They cannot change, right, Joe?
A story about a second chance and making the most of it. I catch up with a man I first interviewed 3 years ago who went from prison to promotion and now a national honor. I'm excited to tell you about his journey. That is today on the News at 6.
all right, well, it's going to be a very busy weekend in downtown San Antonio. Muertos Fest at Hemisphere is happening, and Sir Paul McCartney will take the stage at the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, so city leaders are trying to make sure that people are prepared for all of this. The heaviest traffic is expected Saturday night near the Alamo Dome and I-37. There are other options besides driving yourself. There's Via's free park and ride service on Saturday, and of course, using a rideshare company. We have several resources to help you finalize your weekend plans on our website at KSAT.com. Of course, there is also weekend weather to take into account. Rain chances we are watching. Adam.
Yeah, and some much needed rainfall, and we could have some pretty good bullseyes of accumulations, exactly what we need right now. Now, not exactly drought busting rain or really drought denting for most of us, but it could help the aquifer a little bit and at least green things up here. Grass and other vegetation could get green, but it's not going to give a big boost to the aquifer. Wind, of course, is Friday night into early Saturday. We've been talking about that. That's the main time frame and window of opportunity. I think, especially locally, that would be starting around 10 p.m. Friday night. Again, it's going to be close for some of the high school football games, but the timing as of now keeps it 10 p.m. and later for our neck of the woods. 1 to 3 inches, quite possible, and even some locally higher amounts. Now, it's not going to be for everybody. I think that is generally along and north of Highway 90, but we could see some of those higher bullseyes as we often do. We know that rainfall accumulations around here are highly variable. This will be one of those events, so you can just hope for the best for your neighborhood and even the aquifer recharge zone. Street flooding and the chance for some strong to severe storms. Locally gusty winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour. The off chance of a little bit of hail, but mainly we're looking at heavy rain, frequent lightning and thunder, and some street flooding with a few wind gusts associated with it. So let's take our futurecast into Friday. During the daylight hours, for the most part, 1 or 2 stray pop-up showers. It really shouldn't get in the way of anything. And even around kickoff time, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Locally, we're just fine. You just have to be careful as you're in the hill country. That's where this activity is going to begin. Friday evening after sunset in the hill country, notice 10 p.m. starting to barrel through Rock Springs, moving into Fredericksburg and Kerrville, moving through Del Rio at that time. And then closer to 11 p.m. midnight here in San Antonio, that's when we could have the leading edge. Now, I do want to point out, often the pattern with these systems is right now, a few days out, it says midnight locally. Quite often they speed up as you approach the actual event. So that's why I say closer to 10 p.m. locally rather than just the midnight this computer's saying. I want you to be ready as early as 10 p.m. for this line of thunderstorms to move through with some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning and thunder. So Friday night, if your kids or your dogs, cats, get scared from lightning and thunder, be ready for that. Be prepared for that. And it's going to last off and on all the way through about sunrise on Saturday morning. Then, with a little bit of clearing, destabilization, we could have more redevelopment of just widely scattered activity, widely separated pop-up showers and storms Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. But keep in mind, the main event that you need to plan around is Friday night. And as I mentioned before, 1 to 3 inches we do think is quite possible for several locations, but not everybody's going to get that much. It's going to be variable as usual. This is just one computer model. It says 2.4 in San Antonio. That's not a guarantee. It's just the latest run. But they've been pretty consistent on pointing toward 1 to 3 inch swaths across our area. 87 our high today. That's 7 degrees above average. The record, 91. Now notice our morning low of 68, a good 10 degrees above above average. And luckily we got rid of the humidity. So it was a warmer than average morning, but dew points are down. For the most part, 50s to right near 60, but they are rising, and it's going to be muggy by tomorrow morning. Temperatures widespread just in the 80s out there right now. 82 by 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we're down to 78 degrees. And then tomorrow morning, upper 60s here in Bexar County. A little bit cooler in outlying areas. The humidity's back. It's back near 90 degrees for the high temperature. And you'll feel that mugginess up until Sunday when we clear out, and we'll have highs in the upper 80s at that point.
All right, Adam, thank you.
Okay, well, we saw Larry in Dallas a little while ago. Mary, the wait is just finally over. A couple more hours.
Couple more hours. Yeah, Larry already giving us a preview of what he'll be talking about more in depth coming up. It's Spurs opening night, and the rookies, Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper, very excited to make their NBA debuts tonight. Larry joining us live from American Airlines Center after the break.
It had to be like going to watch Carmelo play in the Garden. It's probably my earliest memory. That Jeremy Lin era, definitely around there.
From MSG as a kid to American Airlines Center as a rookie, it's Dylan Harper debut day in big board sports. This summer, forward Cooper Flagg was drafted by the Mavericks, #1 overall out of Duke. And with the very next pick, the Spurs took former Rutgers guard Dylan Harper. So it's only fitting that the two go head-to-head on opening night in a battle of the NBA's future stars. Both rookies were drafted into similar situations, and it's pretty unusual as both San Antonio and Dallas are already competitive. They have competitive rosters looking to contend for a title. Pretty interesting. All right, with that, we turn it over to sports director Larry Ramirez, who is coming to us live from American Airlines Center. Larry.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mary. So the Spurs arrived in Dallas late yesterday afternoon. Now they're about 3 hours away from tipping off their regular season right here in Dallas against the Mavericks. It's a Southwest Division matchup to start things off, and I can't wait. So Wemby and the Spurs held shoot-around late this morning here at the AAC. The Dallas Stars played last night, so a crew had to change things over from an ice rink to a basketball court. Spurs rookie guard and second overall draft pick Dylan Harper will make his regular season debut tonight, and we asked him about the challenges of facing the Mavs' very tall starting lineup, with all five ranging from 6'5" to 7'1", including the 6'9" rookie Cooper Flagg.
I mean, just you see they play fast, they guard. I mean, they all got players out there that can do a little bit of everything. So just the size from the 6'7" to 7 foot, and just everything in between, I think is going to be a good challenge. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup, but I think more importantly, I'm focused on my team and what we got to do to go out there and win today.
The Mavericks will host the Spurs tonight at 8:30 here at the American Airlines Center, and you can watch it on ESPN. Now, we also got to chat with rookie Carter Bryant. We got to go one-on-one with him, and you'll hear from him tonight coming up at 6. Mary, back to you.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah, that's a good one. The rookie spirit just makes opening day so much more exciting.
We're ready for it.
Okay, they just got to stay healthy. I feel good about their chances this year, Mary.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary. We'll be right back.
All right, here's a quick look at what's coming up tonight on ABC Primetime. At 7, it's Shifting Gears, and at 7:30, Abbott Elementary. At 8, The Golden Bachelor, and then at 9, the Shark Tank, followed by The Night Beat at 10.
Adam.
All right, quiet tomorrow and most of Friday. It's Friday night into early Saturday. We're watching for widespread showers, thunderstorms, heavy rain, frequent lightning, thunder, and the off chance of a few strong to severe storms. We clear things out by Sunday, and Sunday will also drop the humidity. So it's kind of a 50-50 weekend there, and Sunday a little drier, less humid with a lot of sunshine, and then no real deal front quite yet.
Got some weekend variety. I like it.
Dust off your umbrella.